Hello and welcome back to sessions on Amadeus with Travelocademy English. My name is Gaurav Gera. And today we're going to discuss about the first thing which is really important while creating a PNR, and that is how to pick up an itinerary. So in the last video, we discussed about how do you really, what are the elements required to create a PNR. In this video, we will be discussing how do you enter commands, what are the commands required to pick up the itinerary. So before we start, in case you're coming here for the first time, you can like this video if you like it, you can subscribe the channel and you can hit the bell icon so that you will get updated on the new content that we upload on our channel. Also, for people who are new to this, because we have a channel of Travelocademy which is in Hindi, and now we have created a new channel which has comparatively less subscribers. So we would request you that if you're coming for the first time, you can also join our Telegram channel where there are a lot of people. The link is in the description, and we play daily quizzes, we update news, and we also share a lot of travel documents like ITA books and other things, so that people who are from the industry can really read through things that we are doing in here in this video. Also, we have a Facebook and Instagram page. You can if you want to be updated on the travel news around the world, you can also like that and follow that page. Now all the links are in the description. So itinerary is the first thing that we need to enter whenever we get a call or whenever some customer contacts us. In travel, we call them passengers. So if a passenger, prospective passenger, contact us and says, you know what, I want to be, I want a flight from one place to another. So what we do is a very simple thing. As we have discussed in the previous videos, that we have a command to decode and encode different cities. So Amadeus would not take the name of a city. For example, if you have Washington, if you write Washington in Amadeus, it won't accept it, because Amadeus only accepts the codes which is given by IATA. IATA is International Air Transport Association, which is just like the topmost authority in travel, and they make sure that the flights are safe and every rule is followed. So they're basically the headmasters of this aviation industry. So they make sure that everything around the world is being followed, all the rules are followed, and there is no air security, air safety issues for any passenger around the world. Now ITA says that there are 3-letter city codes, and if we enter some commands over here, so let's say we start with the first thing. Let's say we have something in our mind. We want to travel on 25th of July from Washington to, let's say, London. If there is a flight which is required to go from Washington to London, so what we do is a very simple command in Amadeus. We do SN or AN. You can do either of these. You can use either of these commands. There is a very slight difference, but then generally people use AN. So if you use AN and then we put 25th July, that's the date of travel we want to choose. So you need to make sure that the format of the date is like this. So 25, and if you see July, it is not complete July, it is JUL. So you will always take the first 3 letter of that month in case you want to enter any command related to the date in Amadeus. So AN 25th July, AN is the command. This is the command, and 25th July is the date. Then you press the and you enter the details of the city. So let's say we want to go from Washington. So Washington's code is WAS. Also, there are few airports in Washington like DCA, IAD. So when a city has more than one airport, there is a separate code for the city and there is a separate code for the airport. For example, in Delhi there is only one airport, so you only have DEL as an airport code and as a city code. But in Washington there are 2 different airports or maybe more. So they have city code as WAS and airport code is IAD or DCA. So that depends which airport you want to go. Ronald Reagan, and there is another one. Then you have New York. New York also has 3-4 different airports. London has 6 airports. So basically, if you just type down the airport code, or you just type down the city code, which is WAS, it will give you flights from all the airports in this city. So I can either write down DCA, so it will only give me flights from DCA, or rather, to have a broad perspective, we can put it like WAS. So this is entire Washington. Then you can put the city of arrival, which is London. So AN 25 July WAS to LON. This is the command that we're going to be using in this. This is a very simple command. You can change the date, you can change the city pair, and then you can press enter. When you press enter, you will see something like this coming up. Now, if you're looking at it for the first time, it is really confusing. However, in the next 10 minutes, you will be able to read every part of it in a very detailed way. So it's basically really easy to understand this. You see this is the flight. I'll go with the second one. This is first flight, this is the second flight. This is UA 122. So UA is basically United Airlines. You want to check it, you just keep the cursor on it and it says it is United Airlines flight number 122. And these are the classes. We call them RBDs. I think it is reservation booking designator. These all are the classes that we have, the RBDs that we have. You see J9, C9, it says there are 9 seats in J class, there are 9 seats in C class, there are 9 seats in D class. That does not mean that there are only 9 seats. Whenever you see 9 as a number over there, this means that the maximum number that you can book a seat with. So if you want to create a PNR, if you want to create a booking, maximum number you can pick at once is 9. You cannot create a booking for more than 9 passengers. You go to a website, any website around the world, you cannot book more than 9 passengers in one go. You have to make 2 reservations in case you have more than 9 passengers. And the same way it says 999. So if you pick these 9, you will get 9 more, or maybe whatever is left after this. If you see something let's say, if you see here, it says Z6. That means it has only 6 seats. If there is anything less than 9, it means that that is the total number that this specific class has. Now, what is important here is to understand that the more you go towards the right, the lesser is the price. So I'll give you an example of this. Let's take this as an example. N is the last class that you see over here. Now N9, this basically means that there are 9 seats in the N class, and N is right now the most economical class of this entire flight. So a flight is basically made in a very different way. It is not like trains, railways in a lot of countries where there is equal price in different classes. For example, if you want a specific type of cabin, you have only one price for the entire cabin. Over here in flights, even if you want to go travel in an economy class or a business class or a first class, each of these classes would have different fares in its own cabin. So in an economy, there is a possibility that one person is traveling at a $200 ticket and one person is traveling at a $2,000 ticket, depending on the time that they have booked. So if you book late, if you book just very near to the flight, it is going to be more expensive. And the reason is that these classes are going to be sold out if it moves towards the flight date. So a bit confusing, but the more you get into it, the more you will understand about it. So if you see, it says N9. So there are 9 seats in N class, and there are this says L. L generally means waitlisted, which means that G class is kind of on waitlist, and only if somebody else cancels is when your flight will be confirmed. There is a way we can pick this up, but right now we are not going to get into the waitlist part. We will be only checking the confirmed seats. So if you see K9, now if you remember, I told you the more you move towards the left, the higher the fare is going to be. So the more you move towards left, so N and then G and then K and then L and then T and then S. So the price is going up slowly and slowly. W, V, Q, H, it is going up, and then after M you have B, and then Y, and then P, and then Z. So this price is going up. Also, after Y, generally after Y, the price of the class, I mean the class also changes. So till Y, generally the class is economy. After Y class, it becomes business or first, or there is another class which has just come up, which is premium economy. So I'll tell you what are these different classes that we have in travel in a while. But if you look at this is how you will be understanding the RBDs. There are different RBDs. The more you move towards left, the higher the price becomes. There is a way we can only retrieve economy class. There is a way we can only retrieve business class. We will look into it in a while. Now let's move to the next one. IAD. IAD is the code of Washington Dulles. So this is one airport in Washington. Because we entered we entered WAS in the command. So it shows us a flight from Washington Dulles. It says the flight departs from Washington Dulles and it goes to London Heathrow. So this is the city pair that we have. Then it says from Washington Dulles it departs at 8:25 and it arrives at 8:55 p.m. So this is 8:25 a.m. from Washington Dulles and arrives in London Heathrow at 8:55 p.m. This is how we're going to be reading it. Now if you see, it says LHR. LHR is London Heathrow, as London has 6 airports majorly. One is Heathrow, one is City, one is Gatwick, one is Stansted, Southend and Luton. So I guess these are the 6 airports that they have. So this is Terminal 2. Whenever you see a specific number with the city, this means the terminal number. So the flight is going to land in Terminal 2. There is nothing shown over here. There can be different reason. Maybe it has only one terminal, or the terminal is not decided, or it is not being revealed as of now. Now, Washington Dulles departs at 8:25. London Heathrow arrives at 8:55 p.m. So it's in the evening. P means PM, A means AM, and this is Terminal 2. Moving on, E means electronic ticket. So initially there were paper tickets. Now all the tickets are electronic. To simplify it, you can get this ticket on an email and you can open it from any place. Then you see it says 00 means there is no stop. It is going to be a non-stop flight. We're going to discuss about non-stop, one-stop, indirect, direct flights in future. But the non-stop means this flight does not stop in between at all. It leaves Dulles, Washington Dulles, arrives in London Heathrow directly without stopping anywhere. And then you have this is 752. Now there are 2 types of aircrafts that we have. One is a Boeing, one is an Airbus. Boeing is so these are the 2 companies that we have. Boeing is basically an aircraft company. They manufacture aircrafts, and there are other companies also, but those are smaller companies. This is a big company, Boeing. So Boeing is something which belongs to USA, I think, and they manufacture almost, I think, 50% of the aircrafts that we have around the world. And the other company is Airbus. Airbus is something which belongs to, I think, Europe, maybe France. And they are also, a very huge aircraft manufacture company. Now, one difference between these two is there are a lot of difference. Like, they have different aircraft types, just like a car company. If you have, let's say, General Motors or a Hyundai, they have different cars models. One is expensive, one is cheap, one is an SUV, one is sedan, one is hatchback. So the same way, they also have different planes, different kind of planes. Now, one plane you can say is a smaller one, one is a larger one. Like there is this Airbus A380, which is double decker. There are around 600 passengers who can sit in that plane. So there are different, configuration that we have. But one difference between Airbus and Boeing that we need to see is that all the Airbus flights will start from, all the Airbus equipment number, which you see over here, will start from 3 or maybe 0 or maybe 1 or 2. Generally, I would say 80 to 90% of these aircraft will start from number 3. Like if you see here, 333. So this is Airbus. And all the Boeing aircrafts, which is manufactured in USA, by the way, I think I read it somewhere that Boeing is the largest building of the world. Largest in not the size, in like not vertically, horizontally it is the largest building of the world, because all these planes are being parked in that specific building. Now if you see, this is Boeing. It starts from 7. So Boeing will start from 7 and Airbus will start from 3. Then you see it says this thing. This is basically the time, the duration that the flight is going to take from Washington Dulles to London Heathrow. The total time that will be taken will be 7 hours and 30 minutes. And the same way, if you see other flights, down, there are different flights which has a different timings. Now, if you see on 25th of July, this is the flight. MO means Monday. So the flight is on Monday, and we can go down. So these are all the flights that we have. Now, if you see, there are 2 airlines over here. One is OS. OS is Austrian Airlines, and UA is United. Now, this kind of a flight is called a code share flight, when 2 airlines come in an agreement and they, fly. They fly together. Basically, one airline operates the flight, the other airline only markets it. We will discuss about this separately in one session, because this is a very important topic, especially asked while you are in interview, and otherwise also, because you need to make sure that the passenger understands this. Also, if you see, as I told you, we need to understand the classes. So I hope you understood this part. This part is basically from Washington Dulles to London Heathrow. 8:25 it departs, 8:55 it arrives, and this is the flight aircraft number. You move down, you see other flights also, like you see over here, it is British Airways, flight number 216, BA 216. These are the classes. As I told you, this will be the most expensive class, F, then A, then it is going to go down. It is going to be in descending order if you look at this from this point of view. So if you start from here, it is going to be in descending order, and the most economical should be G class, which is right now L. L means it is in wait list, and this flight departs from Washington Dulles at 6:10 p.m. arrives in London Heathrow Terminal 5 at 6:30 a.m. Now it says +1. When it says +1, it means it is going to arrive on the next day. So it's the next day when it is going to arrive, which means that if you're departing on 25th of July, you're going to arrive on 26th of July. Electronic ticket, non-stop, 777. It starts from 7. It must be Boeing. It is Boeing, and then you have 7 hours and 20 minutes as a flight duration. So this is how we look at the itinerary. Now, I wanted to tell you something about the classes that we have. So we generally have 3 classes, or rather today we have 4 classes. One is a first class. Now, first class passengers. So there are very less seats in first class. In first class, you have to pay a lot of amount. I mean, I would say, it is sometimes 10 to 20 times the price of an economy class. You get a lot of facilities. You get, lounge at the airport, free access to lounge. And, there was this guy who used this lounge for 300 days by changing the rate daily. And finally, he canceled his ticket and got the full refund. You must read that news article. So first class is basically a class where you get a lot of facility. You are basically the king in this case, and you get a lot of gifts, special attention, best liquors available in the entire world, because it is very expensive. Now then you have business class. A lot of airlines have stopped first class now. Reason being, there are not a lot of passengers who are traveling in first class these days. They prefer business class. So business class is a bit cheaper than first class, and so first class, basically we denote it as F. You need to know this thing. We denote it as F. Business class is C class. Now it is a bit, I would say, it is not as expensive as first class, but it is very expensive compared to economy class. Also, you get a lot of facilities. The seats are very comfortable. It is completely reclinable, so you enjoy this, traveling in this class. And a lot of airlines have their highest class being business class. They don't have first class, as I told you. Then you have premium economy. Premium economy is a new entry. This is a new entry. Initially, it was not a class. A lot of airlines does not have this specific class, but premium economy was started because there are a lot of people who wanted to travel in business class, but they did not have that much money because it's very expensive. Premium economy has very good seats. They have more baggage. They have as I told you, reclinable seats and very comfortable leg space that they have. So people who cannot afford business class, they prefer traveling in premium economy, and we denote it with the letter W. So first class with the letter F, business class with the letter C, W is for premium economy. Then you have economy class. Now this is the most common and most popular class that we have around in aviation industry. We denote it with letter M. And basically this is where most of us travel. Very cheap comparative if you compare it with all these three. And you get the basic amendments over here. So you can say you can have like normal food, a seat. If you have to have a seat with extra leg room, then you have to pay more for it. So basically you have four different classes, and I told you how. And if you want to combine this premium economy and economy, we call it a Y class. Now you don't understand this thing. First class is a F class, business class is a C class, economy, if you combine premium economy and normal economy, it is Y class. Premium economy separately is W, and economy separately is M class. Now let's see, let's go back to where we are here. In case we want a specific flight, so if you want to recall a command, whatever you have entered before, you want to recall that command, what you do is that if you're using a Mac, you just need to press Option key, keep it pressed, and then click on this, press this arrow up. So you'll see the previous command will come up. If you are using Windows, then I think it is Alt. If you press Alt and arrow up, you will be able to see the previous command that you have entered. Now, if you want a specific cabin, now if you want, let's say we want to see only and only the business class. So what you do is that you put a slash and put a K. When you put a K, K belongs to cabin. Now if you put, like I told you over here in this image, if you put a F, it is going to give you first class. If you put a C, it is going to give you business. If you put M, economy. If you put W, it is going to give you premium economy. So let's say we put C, business is for C. You press enter. You will only and only get the class. If you see, the classes have gone down. There are very less classes that you have now. Over here you had a lot of classes. Now when we filtered it with business class, you will only and only see these classes over here. Now these are business class of different airlines. And if you remember, I told you this is RBDs, and RBDs are basically different for different airlines. So different airlines choose different RBDs or different letters for resembling their specific class. So for example, United Airlines says that J, C, D, Z and P are their business class. And if you see, it is going to be in the same order. On the right, it is going to be the most inexpensive. The more you move towards left, it is going to be more expensive, more expensive, and more expensive. Now going down, you have Austrian Airlines, then you have British Airways. They have their own business class. Let's say we want to check the economy. So you put M and you press enter. Now it will only show you the economy class, and it generally ends at Y class. So it starts from K for this flight and it ends at Y. This is how you check the economy class. Also, if you want to check premium economy, like we told you, it is W, so KW, and now you can see premium economy there. It is with very less flights. Very less airlines are giving this option to travel in premium economy. It's a new class which is just being created. Now you see, this is the timings, this is the airport, departure, arrival. If you see, this is Baltimore. This is also a very close by airport to Washington. So that's why they have given, Amadeus itself has given this option of traveling from Baltimore to London Heathrow, Terminal 5, 8:50 p.m. the flight departs, 9 a.m. the flight arrives next day, and all these details. This is the flight duration. Now, if we want to check a specific class, for example, somebody says, I want to travel in a specific class which is T, Tango. So you put, instead of K is basically for a cabin, C is for specific class, so CT. Now you will only see Tango class. So T, in travel, in aviation, we call it through Navy call list. So T is Tango. So if you want to only check Tango class, it is going to be CT. If you are only trying to find one specific class, for example, if you look at this, we say C P, it will only give us P class. It will not give us any other class. So K belongs to cabin, and if you put C and then you enter any class, it will only give you that specific RBD. And this generally happens when we are changing the flights, not while we are picking it up, because while picking up we just want the most economical one, but then while changing we need to choose the specific flight class that was being taken at the original while we were booking the original flights. Now, so this is how we filter the class. Also, if you want to filter it down to the airlines, what you do is that you put A, and then you can enter any airline. Let's say BA, British Airways. You need to put the code and not the name. So you do ABA, and here you have the flights. And now you will only have flights on 25th of July, Washington to London /ABA, which is only British Airways. If you want, let's say, a specific other airline, you do A. For example, let's say American Airlines. So AAA. A is the code and AA is the airline. So now you have only American Airlines over here. If you see, this is the code share flight. As I told you, a partner flight with American Airlines of British Airways. So this is how we can filter the airlines. One more filter. If you want to go via some city, for example, let's say somebody is going from Washington to London, and you say, okay, I want to go via let's say Paris. You want to go via Paris, so you put a slash and you put PAR, enter. So this is X. So slash X means the connecting city needs to be Paris. So X and PAR. So the flights, if you see, now you have a connecting flight over here. Initially we had a non-stop flight. How do you read a connecting flight? It's very simple. Flight departs from Washington, goes to Paris. This is Charles de Gaulle, leaves from Washington at 6:25 p.m. arrives at Charles de Gaulle at 8:15 a.m. on the next day. So Washington to Paris, 8:15 a.m. on the next day. Non-stop flight, electronic ticket. This is Boeing. And then you see the connecting flight. So if you see under this number 1, you have 2 different flights, which means it is a connecting flight. Then it goes from Paris. It departs at 2E is basically the terminal number. Departs at 10 a.m. next day, which means the flight arrives at 8:15. It departs in 1 hour and 45 minutes. If you see the difference. So from Paris, it departs at 10 a.m. next day, arrives in London Heathrow at 10:30 a.m. It's a very small flight, a short flight from Paris to London, and it arrives at 10:30 a.m. It says +1. Why it says +1 is that it will always be compared with the date that you have entered. So it'll say that, okay, so you have arrived in Paris at 8:15 a.m. +1. +1 will be compared with this. So on the 26th of July, you have arrived in Paris. Then 10 a.m. next day, which means on the 26th of July in the morning, you are departing from Paris and arriving in London Heathrow at 10:30 a.m. +1, which is again going to be from 25th of July +1 is going to be 26th of July. So it is In total 11 hours and 5 minutes flight, and it is a one-stop flight. It is not a non-stop flight in this case. And if you see, there are different options down there. Again, AN 25th July, we traveled from Washington to London. You want to put more filters to it, you can just do, we want it to go via, so X, Paris. Airlines should be A, Air France, / cabin should be economy, and you can put a class also, but then we just keep it till cabin. You press enter, and now you have, if you see, we entered few filters over here. So flight from Washington to London going via Paris, Air France, and the cabin should be economy. And now you see we have only Air France flights going via Paris. Charles de Gaulle is in Paris. It has majorly, I think, two airports. One is Charles de Gaulle, another is Paris Orly, and then it is with Air France, and it is going to be in economy class. If you put C over here, it is going to be business, and then F is first, and W is premium economy. Y will include premium economy and economy both, as I told you. So I just tried to explain you the itinerary part in detail. In case I missed something or you were not able to understand any part of it, I would request you to please enter in the comment box. And if you have understood it, it would be really great if you could tell us that you understood this concept. We will be coming back with more videos on the same tool. And this is the itinerary part. In case you have more questions, you want to do a course, you can always call on the number, or you can WhatsApp on the number which is on your screen. Thank you so much for your time, and if you have watched till here, it will be great if you would like it, subscribe the channel and share it with those who really need it. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.